Alright, hey, what's going on, guys? Geek Hustle is coming back at you with another video on the channel, and this time today we are reviewing another McFarlane item. Wow, been reviewing quite a bit of McFarlane recently, strangely enough. Reviewing the DC McFarlane Batman Who Laughs, Batman Joker Crazy Toxin Gas combination, Joker Batman. Alright, so if you haven't read the comic already, basically what happened was oh man, quite a story behind this one. Alright, basically what happened, Joker had created this weird toxin gas to poison basically everybody, kind of like infect everybody. It was a completely different version of the Scarecrow fear toxin or whatever. And Bruce Wayne, unfortunately, well, this version of Bruce Wayne had gotten infected by it. It poisoned his mind slowly throughout the beginning of the comic. Basically, it was Batman and Joker fusing their minds together, weirdly enough. At one point at the beginning of the comic, from what I remember, Joker had gone too far. He was blowing up hospitals. He was, doing exactly what Joker usually does in every single verse. Eventually, he had killed a family right in front of Batman. Batman completely lost it, and rightfully so, snapped his neck. But it wasn't really worth it. So, alright, slowly throughout the comic, Batman starts to lose his crap. Eventually, he kills the entire Bat family, kills Red Hood, Batgirl, Nightwing, Damian Wayne, thankfully. And basically, he also poisoned Superman at one point, somehow, from what I remember. He also had this black kryptonite or whatever. And, yeah, had Superman kill his entire family right in front of him, and it was crazy, man. Such a weird comic. Basically, it was the Nightmare verse from what I remember from the research that I did do. And yeah, man, basically, this is the result of all that. And wow. This is a good figure, but before I get into this, there are a couple things to talk about, of course, and address when it comes to pros and cons. Not only that, basically he came with a Batmobile piece, but I decided not to even put that together. I really couldn't care less about that thing. And of course, to get the entire mobile Batmobile or whatever, you have to get Nightwing and Batgirl. First of all, Batgirl's face looks so weird to me, man. The body, that looks sculpted fine, but her legs, there's just something really goofy and off about her legs. Nightwing, his huge head, weird, skinny-looking legs, skinny, tiny forearms. Yeah, not happening. I just decided to buy this and throw away the Batmobile piece, so screw that. Moving on to the review. This is one of my favorite figures easily right now. Definitely like the design, like the particular look and everything. So the accessories, well, you're looking at him right now. He doesn't come with any guns. Unfortunately, he was actually holding guns in the comics in that particular run. I just hate that he didn't come with any guns. And also, he doesn't have any sharp red fingernails, claws, or whatever like he did in the comics, which is pretty weird. Don't know why they left out that detail, but yeah, kind of a missed opportunity, just a small nitpick. So now that I'm already on it, might as well just go in on a sculpt, and the sculpt looks great on this figure, man. I cannot believe that McFarlane had another W lined up for themselves when it comes to the DC multiverse line. Of course, certain figures are better than others. It's not like they've been like on a complete perfect win-win streak, like one or two bad figures. No, quite a few of them look but anyway, moving on from that, you can see the straps all over them, which I really like how those are sculpted. Not only that, there's a lot of consistency when it comes to the skin tightness of this particular suit. You can see a lot of the wrinkles all over the arms, all over the legs, basically everything, man. The straps, everything feels really high quality. Not like extremely high quality. Of course, it's a $20 figure, but yeah, it does not feel cheap at all. And also, you can also see the spikes around this weird, deranged, demented-looking cowl. I have no idea when the Batman Who Laughs put this together. Also, you can see, you gotta look real closely. You can see that the teeth is actually sculpted pretty well, and there's like dry blood around his chin. I don't know if that's like a QC control error, but if it's not, I'm fine with that. If it is, I'm fine with that. I don't really care. I think it looks cool either way. So yeah, you can also see there's a lot of like rust and dirt all over these weapons right here. This giant long knife, and you can see this little sickle scythe or whatever right here, which makes him almost look like a Grim Reaper. I think that is really awesome. Like the dirt and rust all over the old weapons, that looks great. And the back, which is actually strangely enough, my favorite part of the figure, man, when it comes to the details, the back looks really good. You can see the stitches on the back of the torso, the upper part of the torso, anyway, right here looks really, really good. The wrinkles on the lower part of the coat right here, this looks good. The detail, wow, they outdid themselves. And that's pretty much it. In the hands, like I said before, unfortunately, there are no red, sharp fingernails. I don't know why they left out that detail. And there are no guns. But the accessories are still good. I'll give the accessories like an 8 out. I give it an 8 out of 10 because he could have just came with this one knife and that's all we get. They did actually include two. I just wish we had a machine gun. I guess they couldn't really optimize the hands on the figure to have him like hold a machine gun, which is pretty unfortunate, man. Definitely sucks. But yeah, other than all that right there, the figure looks great. Now for the articulation. Oh wait, before I get into that, might as well score the the sculpt, and I would give the sculpt like 9.5 out of 10. It is really, really good. No QC control errors, surprisingly, for a McFarlane figure. Of course, can't give it a 10 because that small little nitpick with the red nails. I need all my details, man. But other than that, great, great sculpt, 9.5 out of 10, and I'll change it to a 7.5 out of 10 when it comes to the accessories. Well, no, 8 out of 10. Just because of the sculpt on the accessories. They could have just been lazy pieces of plastic, kind of like how some of Hasbro's Marvel Legends figures are done when it comes to the accessories, but no, they're not done like that. So moving on, going into the articulation, and you get a nice bicep swivel right here, goes all the way around. Of course, let me take these weapons out, and it is really easy to put the weapons in his hands as well. He does grip them pretty well. I don't have any loose joints on mine. Elbow articulation is really tight. Wrist articulation, pretty decent. Can go in and out, side to side, depending on how you position your ball points on the wrist. And head articulation is completely limited. You're not getting any of it. It can kind of move a little bit up and down to a certain degree. It looks decent, but I'm not really going to fault the figure when it comes to the head articulation since the side parts of the jacket kind of limits that. So, I ain't going to touch that. It's fine. Waist articulation is also kind of limited by the coat. It kind of, you really got to reach deep into the figure right here to kind of turn the waist. It does turn all the way around and it does feel tight. It doesn't feel like I'm going to break it. So it's average. And also you have the knee articulation. Knee articulation is also pretty good. Ankle. There is hold on, I might as well mention this. Toe hinge right at the boot. It's decent. It's kind of weird because you think that you haven't like put the toe hinge all the way down because the tip of the boot is like already facing upward. Nah, that's just how the figure looks. Don't even worry about that. Ankle pivot is average at best. It's still kind of limited and stiff. Leg articulation is, oh man, that is kind of limited. Leg articulation doesn't exactly go all the way. It's kind of limited, man. I can see that McFarlane, they're still trying to figure out the leg articulation. It does go forward. Kind of goes back, not too much. It's definitely limited. I definitely don't recommend like being rough with the legs. Definitely be careful. So yeah, the articulation I would give it like it's definitely kind of limited, but I don't really blame the figure because of how it's made. So I'm not really gonna get on all of that really harshly at all. The articulation, you can get some pretty decent poses. Earlier I did have him like kneeling down, and while he was holding the weapons, you can kind of make him look like he's walking, of course. You can do some things when it comes to the poses, man. So The articulation is a little limited, but not too limited. And again, the due to how the figure is designed, just the character design in general, you're going to be kind of limited in a few areas. So, would I recommend this figure? Absolutely. If you want to get the Nightwing and Batgirl, if you're like the type of guy who feels like you have to get every single figure in each wave or line or whatever, fine, go for it. It's your money. I personally won't to be getting those two figures, but hey, man, who knows? Maybe you might enjoy them. But yeah. Uh, oh yeah, might as well show you how it feels to put the figure, put the weapons in the hands. All you gotta do is kind of like slide it in. It takes a little bit effort, but not too much. Just slide it in from the top. Same thing with the knife. And there we go. I would still be careful, just because you don't want to snap the fingers or anything. The fingers don't feel sensitive, but can never be too careful. So yeah, man. That's about it. As I said before, I definitely would recommend this figure, and overall, I give the figure like a solid 8.5 out of 10. I would give it at least that. I don't know about the story. I haven't read the entire story. I just know the basic premise. I think Batman kills, well, a different Batman anyway, from a different universe. I think, you know what? I'm not even going to spoil it. Nah, just in case. You need to read that story if you're curious. So moving on from that, yeah, final verdict. Like I said before, eight. I believe I gave it an 8.5 out of 10. But even if I didn't, don't care. I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10. And this is definitely one of my favorite figures. Hope you found this review informative. Definitely would recommend this figure as well. Um, so yeah, that's all I got for you today on Geek Hustlers, man. And I'll see you next time. Post comments down and subscribe if you choose to. I cannot PR that. Anyway, see you next time.